afternoon. The committee will now come to order at 5:06 this afternoon. This is a roundtable discussion to further go over Bill 64-33 after there's some concerns that were brought forward with respect to the bill. Now, the intent of Bill 64 is to allow for internet services to be more smoothly made available on a voluntary or donated basis within our villages. Some of the confusions that we're looking to sort out is that we understand that some villages already have it, and so we're trying to reconcile what the bill is seeking to do and specifically how it needs to relate to public law. The author of the bill has done a lot of work in trying to get further legal clarification from the Legislative Legal Counsel, and there is feedback on that is very, very positive. We also have some concerns that were raised in additional discussions by some other stakeholders, to include a mayor that has some additional suggestions. And so before we go into some of the concerns, some of the questions, and some of the answers that we've been able to generate over the last several days, I'd like to turn it over to the author of the bill to just go ahead and recap the intent of Bill 64 and where we're going to be going from here. Senator Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate this roundtable discussion with our mayors and the Executive Director of the Mayor's Council and the Director of DOA and the Office of Technology Representative, Mr. Joyce Manabusan. I appreciate the committee's help, your help, and your concerns, Mr. Chair, in allowing us, our office, to assist in seeking guidance from legal counsel regarding Bill 64. As just a recap from our previous public hearing, and that was some of the concerns that were addressed by the Mayor's Council. We have put together an amended draft to address those concerns. However, just to go back to the basis of an intent of Bill 64 is to allow the authority or a clear legal path for the Mayor's Council to have the ability to receive these donated services from our providers that are out there that are willing to do this. We all know that the providers, again, this was initiated from discussions from a provider that felt that they wanted to participate also in providing services to our mayors. However, I was not clear too as well when we were looking at current statute that this could be made available at this time. So we proceeded with legislation to clear that up, because based on my review and of course our Legislative Council's guidance, it's made it clear that this bill is necessary to clear up whatever assumptions that are out there regarding law. I know that there is some authority within the governor's control to provide this donated service. However, again, according to legal counsel, it still does not address specifically to the Mayor's Council's authority to receive that directly. So again, I thank the providers who provided input, ensuring that that they don't feel clear to as proceeding and providing the service. Again, I know, Mr. Chair, you mentioned too that some providers have already proceeded in providing some services to these communities out there. Again, under the premise that they feel it's okay, necessary or okay. However, what Bill 64 does as well is clear up any perceived favoritism or any notion of that some provider is getting these services provided or providing these services. So Bill 64 does as well. As far as the immunity is concerned, we've addressed that as well in the legislation to clear up any immunity of liability from both the provider and the government of Guam as well for receiving these services. So thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll answer any questions that were there, but we also, as we talked to Mr. Chair about some of the recommendations by the Mayor's Councils, we've also prepared a draft. We'll forward it to your office today, and to the councils for review. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Morrison. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Frank Uggan, who's joined us today at the roundtable as well. And I know everyone at the table, but for the benefit of the listening audience, if we could just start over here at you, Mayor Ben, and just go around the table and have everybody introduce themselves who's present here today. Go ahead and speak into the microphone. Just who you are and where you're from.
I'm Ben Gumatauto, Mayor of PT, and I'm here just to listen first, then I'll ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tony Blas, DOA Director.
I'm Joseph Manibusan, or Joey Manibusan. I'm representing the Office of Technology.
Hey, Marissa Borja, Public Relations Coordinator from Docomo Pacific. Good to see everyone.
Angel Sublan, Mayor's Council of Omaha.
Mayor Matrani, representing the village of Jigo.
Thank you to our mayors, our government officials, and our private sector representatives for being here today. I'm just going to go ahead and dive into the bill, and we'll go over each specific section here that I wanted us to be able to go over and clarify. But I'm also going to do it in the context of some of the recommended amendments here by the sponsor, Senator Morrison. That way, I'm going to make sure I'm not talking about something that he's already addressing here in his new draft amended version. First, he's going to be clearing up. We have copies. Great, if we can circulate those. The draft bill? Okay. Just to clarify for everybody, does everyone have a copy of the original bill?
I have the original.
Okay. We do have a draft here from Senator Morrison that does have some changes. Did you want to have copies of this made and circulated? They're making it now? Okay, so we'll go ahead and just proceed, and then everyone will get a copy of it from there. But just to start out, it looks like Senator Morrison is going to be amending the title. He's going to be amending a little bit of Section 1. He's going to be amending the legislative statement, and this is where the main changes, I guess, begin. He's striking from line 10 all the way to... he's basically striking the whole section there, right, Senator Morrison? And you're adding new language? Yeah, he's striking all of Section...
That's correct, Mr.
40301, the statement, and he's rephrasing it to say, it is the intent of Legislatura en Guahan to authorize the village mayors to provide free wireless internet access at village community facilities. So that's going to be the new statement there. Now going into subsection 40302. For me, the biggest concern that I had here was that it reads as if the language is intending to bypass the procurement process. Because it reads that each mayoral office is authorized to expend funds under its control for the purpose of equipment necessary to provide free internet services to patrons of their respective community centers. So that general language saying you're just authorized to spend the funds, it kind of redefines it that it may be outside of the procurement law.
There might be procurement issues on this one, so I can work with the GSA on that whole, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Because I don't think the senator's intent is to bypass procurement.
No.
Okay. So we'll tighten that up with
Yes,
you,
I will
Senator Bus. Okay, thank you. That was my only concern there, was bypassing procurement, so we'll tighten that up. Okay, now on 40303 access control. There's a couple items there. The first is the first sentence of the original bill was each mayor will determine their own conditions, but Senator Morrison is already proposing a change that says the mayor's council will determine the policies, terms of use, and conditions of access to wireless internet services at community facilities. So are the mayors okay with that? Because my original concern, which was brought up in the hearing, was it's better to have a uniform use policy, so that way if someone from one village goes to another village, they're not breaking anybody else's rules because it's uniform. So the mayors are okay with this new language from Senator Morrison. The mayor's council shall determine the policies.
Mr. Chair, that was recommended by Mr. Angel Sablan. Yes.
My letter to Senator Nicolas.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to note here that Senator Morrison's draft has okay language to adopt. The second sentence of the original bill says each mayoral office shall have the authority to refuse access to internet services to any person. That is no longer... that refuse access to internet services is still in Senator Morrison's proposal. And my concern was, and we don't have anyone from legal here, but my concern was, can we refuse access to a government service? Okay, but I mean, like, for example, can you refuse someone from entering the gym? I mean, maybe they're drunk, right? Or they're a danger to themselves or to others. So I'm kind of concerned with the blanket language that says the mayors can just refuse service to anyone, and maybe we need to clarify with legal the parameters of that refusal, right? Because if it's a government service, I don't think we can just say no because the mayor said so, right?
But we're not here to control that.
If you could speak into the mic.
We need to control this, because if we don't, it's useless. It's
No,
going to be. I have problem with my parks. If I can't control it, they break every day. So this thing's going to be broken if you don't let the mayor control it.
Understood, Mayor.
Okay.
I think that the control is
Really?
we all agree on the control. The question is, can we have language in the law that says that the mayor shall have authority to refuse access to internet services to any person?
And we should have that control.
We'll check with legal if there's any concern with refusing access to government services without just cause. Maybe we need to add some kind of just cause language.
But my reason is to give us responsibility for this item. We should control it. If you cannot control it, it's going to be useless.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Those are the two concerns there. So I'm going to go ahead and make a note that with cause, with cause language. Anybody else have any other concerns? I'm sorry. Does anybody have any other concerns if the previous section 40302 or 40303? So Senator Morrison's proposed language here, I'm just going to kind of go off of his as well, is each mayoral office, this is the second sentence on 40303, each mayoral office shall have the authority to determine the hours of operation for wireless internet services at respective community facilities in their villages and to refuse access to internet services to any person. That particular line, we'll go ahead and put just cause language in there.
I agree.
But does anybody have anything else for that particular section? All policies, terms of use, and conditions shall be posted at the community facilities where wireless internet services are offered. Everything else there looks fine to me. Procurement. Everybody good on those two sections so far? Okay. On the immunity for liability, there was a concern in the original language, but let me just go ahead and go through Senator Morrison's here. Each mayoral office, the government of Guam, and the ISP shall be immune from civil and criminal liability for any tort or crime committed by patrons of internet services provided pursuant to this article. Each mayoral office, the government of Guam, and the ISP shall be immune from civil and criminal liability to patrons who use wireless internet services provided pursuant to this article. There is no immunity from criminal or civil liability for any employee or agent of a mayoral office, the government of Guam, or the ISP who directly commits a crime or tort or is complicit in the commission of a crime or tort in the use of wireless internet service. Okay, that satisfies all of my concerns. My concern in the original language was it kind of open-ended the immunity,
Right.
but this closes it to strictly with respect to this article. Does everybody understand how his language kind of changes the... Okay. Next is section 4305, authorization to solicit and accept donations. We'll go off of Senator Morrison's amended version here. Notwithstanding the provisions of 22408 G5 GCA, and then everything else is the same. Internet services. And then he adds new language here that reads, the Mayor's Council of Guam shall develop posting guidelines to be uniformly applied to all mayoral offices and other designated public facilities. Such guidelines shall protect against advertising, religion, political activities, weapons, drugs, tobacco products, alcohol, or other products or services inappropriate for educational purposes. Okay. Now, my only concern here of this particular section was something that was brought up by Mayor Gogui, where he was concerned about the condition that internet services are provided for free if the mayor's office goes out and procures a service, almost like a sweetener to a procurement award. So he was suggesting that language be added after the first sentence on line 9 after the word services. Mayor Gogui is suggesting we add language that says, so long as it is without any written or implied conditions in the acceptance of these donations.
That's fair.
So he's basically saying they're allowed to solicit and accept the donations for internet services as long as there's no written or implied conditions for them to accept it. So
basically, that's what we do now.
Okay, I was going to ask.
The donations, it's that there is no implication that we will either purchase the services or their products from them in lieu of them donating to us.
Okay. So that's already practice.
Yes.
But it's okay if we stick it in as a
Sure,
mandate.
sure.
Okay. So just go ahead and add the Mayor Gogui language here.
Just a quick question. Mr.
Sure,
Chairman.
Senator Duggan.
Is there, Angel, this would be applied to yourselves and the mayors here, is there a reporting mechanism where on an annual basis you report to either the legislature or the governor's office in regards to all the free contributions that you get from the local community?
Not a reporting requirement. We do have a quarterly reporting from for each of the mayoral offices to report their non-appropriated funds, and that's where they show donations coming from various individuals or businesses. Those donations do not come directly to the Mayor's Council of Guam. They, businesses pick and choose which villages they want to donate to. So we do have a reporting requirement in that sense, but it's on a quarterly basis.
So you already have a mechanism
and then we use that
where,
to publish it also on our
so there
website.
exists a mechanism where the mayors would report on a quarterly basis.
And we provide
Now-
this to the auditor and to the
Now, is that
speaker.
posted in your webpage?
It's supposed to be posted in the website.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Uggan. But that was my only concern of subsection 40305, and then of course we have the standard severability clause. And that would take us through the entire bill. Does anybody have any concerns or questions with respect to Bill 64? And as discussed so far today?
I think so, Ken.
I'm just, section on the last page, 3, line 7. I'm not familiar with section 22408. I don't know if that's a correct number.
Yeah, we'll need to go back and re-verify that as well on our side.
Yeah.
But we'll do it within the context of the original language as well, and then we'll just coordinate with the author to see where that one was going.
And I
Did
just
you
want
to
to,
clarify?
because we do have the authority to accept donations and other stuff from different partners in the community, we just don't want to make sure that this provision is not going to be applicable to everything that is donated to the Mayor's Council.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This refers to what I was
Only internet
previously mentioning earlier regarding the governor. This statute that is in place that the governor has. There is a process that allows for the governor to accept donations on behalf of the government of Guam. However, that's why we had to ensure that this language is in there, because that is already in place. That's in statute already to allow, or actually in place to allow for this donated service. What we're trying to do is give the mayor's clear legal path to accepting the donations.
So your intent is to make this not only with respect to internet services, but blanket for any kind of donations. They can solicit and they can accept.
Right, but again, the whole intent here was specific to wireless services being donated to the mayor's offices or their designated facilities that they wish to provide this service.
Because the way I'm reading it, because we added including internet services, so we have currently we can get the cash, the equipment, and the services. Now we're adding the including internet services. Name of the donor, the date of donation. Does now that apply to everything that's donated to the Mayor's Council of Guam? That's my question.
Right.
And if it does, I mean, we don't have any. We'll publish everybody's name that donates. We're happy to do that, but we just want to make sure that this bill covers for owners, so we won't get caught later on when we get an audit. Why are we not publishing certain donations or certain equipment that are being donated and only internet services?
So, well, how does the mayor's and the mayor's council
we don't
feel?
have any objection to it. Like I said, we're happy to publicize people that donate.
But basically, this would mandate it.
Yes.
It would mandate that any donation of cash, equipment, and services, including internet services. So you know how in the previous sections we wrote language in there that says in the use of wireless internet services provided pursuant to this article? We can put language in here that would narrow this requirement pursuant to this act, so that
But we don't have to. It's not
only be.
necessary, but I just wanted to.
Well, I mean, how realistic though would it be for us to require the mayors to post? Because this is going to be for not less than 3 years. So you guys might get a ton of donations. You might cover the whole door in all the donations over $100. You know, so maybe we'll just do it pursuant to this act and limit it strictly to the internet services. Or I mean, how do you feel?
Especially you put $100 or more. I mean, that's a lot of people donate
Right.
that kind of money. I mean, we're not talking about thousands, it's hundreds. So that means there's more people to list.
Yeah.
Right? So
The
I think-
natatamano is enough for the to cover the door.
I would have to say, Mr. Chairman, in regards to receiving donations and contributions, I mean, this is not a statement that would be applicable to any incumbent mayors or vice mayors, but the same concept applies to us as senators, that when we get contributions, if there's a tie-in to a vote or to an action on the part of the body, then certainly there's a conflict of interest. So we just want to make sure that it's open and it's transparent and that everyone understands and can see visibly who makes a contribution to what particular village and what mayor in excess of $100. So I think it's a good mechanism that's a safeguard for the mayors out there, and very similar in our case, we have to report.
probably only the length of time is what we're asking. Is 3 years. I mean, if it's 3 years for everything, we may have a long list.
Right. But Senator Uggan did ask earlier about the reporting requirement for the donations.
So that's done annually,
Annually.
quarterly. So maybe annually should be proper instead of carrying it on over for 3 years.
Is that already statutorily required for you to report that quarterly, the donations? Okay. And but you're not required to post it. You're just required to report it, because this specifically says posting, right? I remember the original language. Yeah, shall be posted on the Mayor's Council website. So this is just the website here. The original language, I think, was a little bit more. Anyway.
Yeah, we can do that. It's just like I said, just the length of time is probably we can. I think
And then the
one
concern
year.
also becomes too. Well, what if somebody donates but they don't want it to be posted? Like, they don't want everybody to know that I
Just
had.
put anonymous. It's posted.
I mean, because I know that Senator Morrison's intent is not to discourage donations either. We don't want to be discouraging donations either
Yeah.
because of the posting requirement. So if all of the and I guess Marissa could chime in, if all of the private sector providers are okay with the posting, then we know that they're not going to have an issue with it. Okay, so maybe we'll just limit it to the internet providers, the posting requirement. Right?
Because I think even for financial disclosures, I think there's a minimum that you have to disclose. I mean, if it's 100 and below, you don't have to disclose it. 100 and above, so.
Okay.
Question to ask, what if the donor don't want to be posted?
Yeah,
Exactly
that's so what we're going to do, Mayor, is we're only going to limit it to the internet providers that are required to be posted, but not all donors.
Because some people donate to bribe. They donate it to make sure they're bribing you, right? I'll give
I
you
hope
an
you're not
example.
receiving any of those things, Mayor.
Let me just give you an example. When I was running for mayor, my opponent, all the people that sign my petition, I bring them for lunch or breakfast, whatever the time. And when they went and vote first, and after that, that's when I give them the. So my opponent says I'm bribing them. No, I'm rewarding them. The difference is if I give them the lunch and breakfast before they voted for me, that's bribery. But afterwards, it's not bribery. That's the difference. So we have to watch carefully on this.
I think we should watch carefully on all of those things, Mayor.
I have experience on this.
Okay. I don't.
We are not connected to those statements.
Just make sure, Mayor, that you did talk to them about how you're going to organize that, sir.
Because I will not accept anything.
I just also wanted to point out to Mr. Chair, with regards to the public hearing, it was mentioned that this is ongoing. There's donations, and mayors are partnering with organizations out there to accept these services, or So again, this refers to subsection 22408 5GCA. That again, that refers to the governor's authority. Yeah, that on behalf of the government. And so this clears this up now for not only the internet, but again, because I mean we understand. I mean at the village level, there is a lot of support that comes in when it comes to the fiestas, the festivals, to name it. And people want to partner, and this clears that up.
I just haven't had an opportunity to read Section 22408. I mean, the Mayor's Council of Guam is an entity that is just floating out there somewhere. And, we have our own procurement authority, as the Director Blas would let you know. And thank God that we have that, because if we're going to go through GSA, there's many things that we'll be able to obtain on a timely basis because of GSA handling everybody else's procurement. But even if that language and that part where Sarah Seneca was talking about may ask us to purchase something that just for somebody giving us services, that wouldn't happen, because we would still have to go out and follow our procurement rules and regulations for anything that we need to purchase.
Well, and that's kind of what ties in also with the first section that we talked about, 40302, where we needed to re-emphasize the procurement requirement, because when you take all that into context, it kind of reads that you're opening the door for that to happen. So, but today we've clarified that that's not the intent, and I think we've covered all the issues here with respect to the bill, unless there's any others.
I just want to emphasize,
Sure,
Senator, that this bill is important, because we do want to receive the services of all the providers that want to provide it. We just want an opportunity or some time down the road where someone would come up and say, hey, wait a minute, why is GTA always giving this to you guys, or why is Docomo always giving these things to you guys, or why is iConnect or whatever entity is providing these services, giving it to the Mayor's Council of Guam. I mean, and then they're going to say, well, what do you get? What do you purchase from GTA? What do you purchase from Docomo? What do you purchase from iConnect? We don't worry about those things, because when it comes to an island for the government-wide system that provide for phone service or for internet or for TVs, we don't handle that. It's handled by GSA. So we're out of the picture on that. So whoever GSA issues the award to, that's what we have to follow. Whether or not this person donated or this entity donated internet services to the Mayor's Council of Guam, or donated 19 TVs for 19 villages, it wouldn't affect our relationship, because if we purchase the services, we would have to follow GSA and follow who they awarded the contract to.
And I guess this kind of brings me to my last point here. Maybe we'll add another section here, notification, and it will require the Mayor's Council shall notify all existing service providers of the stipulations of this act, and ensure their compliance of this act. Because we do have a provider that's already doing this in a village, and so since we're changing the law, or we're affecting the law that might have allowed them to do that, I don't want that provider to all of a sudden be non-compliant, because they weren't aware that the law might have been adjusted here. So we'll probably add a section here to require that the Mayor's Council notify all existing service providers of the stipulations of this act and ensure their compliance.
Do we need an effective date for this act, or just upon signature?
Well, I mean, we have a situation here too, though, where the mayors need to determine the policies, terms of use, and conditions for access to wireless internet services. So, did we want to give you? We need to give you guys time to put those together, right? And those need to be put together in advance before the mayors go out and solicit for the service, because then a provider might say, "Okay, I'm going to do it," and then all of a sudden you guys come back with these regulations, and the provider's like, "Well, that's not what I signed up for." So maybe we'll give you guys an effective date, 90 days. We'll have section 40303 effective immediately, but the rest of the act we can have it effective after 90 days, and that will give you guys 90 days to put together your policies, terms of use, and conditions. 90 days, okay, for the mayors? Okay, so this will be effective immediately.
He'll get older in 90 days, so.
I'll get younger. All of us, one day less to live, getting older.
So effective 90 days after enactment, except for section 40303 and the notification section that we'll add in there. That'll be a section 2 or something, a section 2.
I'm sorry, Senator, the effective date is what, 90 days after?
After enactment. So after the bill passes, you'll have 90 days
Can
before.
we put a provision there, or upon the adoption of the Mayor's Council of Law policy, whichever comes.
So you wanted to do it after that then?
whichever's
We don't even need to set a date then. We can just say after adoption.
Whichever's earlier. Oh, no, we won't, because if we don't,
Yeah.
Okay, after,
Immediately after the adoption by the
right.
Okay, so
So we don't have to put 90 days, just after the
well,
adoption.
if we put 90 days, Senator Morrison, they will have to get their stuff together by 90 days. So that will prevent it from taking 6 months
I'll
or.
assure you'll be on the agenda very, very soon.
Okay. So up to you.
And not next week.
You want to just leave it 90 days?
90 half a day. Short it 12 hours now, every 12 hours.
We'll leave it at
90 of those 2
90 days is fine? Okay.
That's
90 days is
45.
fine.
45 days.
Okay, so Angel, did you have anything else on the bill? Okay, so let me just recap what we've gone through here. We're going to work entirely off of the amended version provided today by Senator Morrison, and we're going to add some changes. The first is going to be on section 40302. We're going to add language to ensure that everything still complies with the procurement law, and I'll get that from Mr. Blas. Thank you. Access control 40303. We're going to add just cause language in there, so you can refuse, but there has to be just cause for the refusal. And we're going to make that effective immediately upon enactment. And on 40305, we're going to add Mayor Gogui's language, and we're also going to add pursuant to this act. So we're not requiring all donations to be posted, just those pursuant to the internet services that are being provided. And then we're going to add another section that will require the Mayor's Council to notify existing service providers of the stipulations and ensure their compliance, and an effective date for 90 days after enactment. Everybody good?
And on the first side, where we change from community centers to community facilities, that would cover whatever is under the jurisdiction of the mayor. Gyms, youth centers.
Yes. On page 2.
Youth centers, senior centers, okay.
Okay. Anybody else? Good to go? Senator Morrison?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Senator Alvin, for your input, and thank you all for your input. I also want to also recognize the providers that have stepped up to see how this could work, and it actually opened us up to look into this and clear it up. And I thank the mayors and Director Angel Sablon for their input in ensuring that we guide this going forward. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for this roundtable. I believe this bill is a better bill today because of your input. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Morrison. So just to clarify, the committee will incorporate all the changes as proposed by the author and as discussed here today, and we will report out this bill for the, we'll try and catch the May session if I have a hearing date, okay? But we'll report the bill out as soon as we incorporate all the changes. All right? Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. He has to make the amendment on the floor. I can't put it on the bill. We'll go ahead and adjourn this roundtable at 5:40 this afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here today.
One question. Now it's over the record, right?